Hello one and all, and welcome back to another Ice Queendom discussion. I'm your only mate, and with me, as always, is
Max if you trades. Hello. This was very good episode, and we're gonna talk about it. Is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. And
Like, straight up, I'm not even gonna pretend. Like legit, this is a very good episode.
yeah, it is. I think after you watched it initially, you messaged me saying like you think this is the best episode so far.
I definitely do. Because it's the right mix of action, plot progression, character moments. It's got everything you could ever want in an episode, all compacted up in there, but not in a rushed way either. It's all good.
Yeah. Also, just had a terrifying moment because for whatever reason I had to reload the page. Then had to immediately remute the episode.
Lest loud noises start going through.
Yeah. Want to avoid potential copyright, although I've been having that with these discussions anyway.
Oh, yeah, I guess you probably would.
Yeah, it's just the track Desire, and it's just shared revenue anyway.
Okay, so that's no big deal.
Yeah.
Anywho, if there's anything you want to talk about before we get into it, now is the time.
No, nothing too relevant. I guess we'll just start from right where we left off last episode.
Shadow Weiss is about to lay the smacketh down upon some fools, and also say some not so great things about the Faunus, because, woo! Volume 1 and 2 Weiss. Good times.
Well, specifically
Good
Volume
times.
1.
I know, Volume 2 was a lot better.
Yeah.
But God, reliving this stuff, not easy. I do want to say, and it's important to note, that while Blake was, in the last episode, incredibly chill, understanding, and, getting through everything just fine and dandy, this episode, and this scene especially, shows pretty clear-cut that she's not, infallible. This stuff still bothers her.
Yeah,
she's just more able to understand that the dream is deliberately trying to mess with us here. I need to not.
Yeah, plus, in the heat of the moment, hearing it come directly from Weiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense, but I honestly appreciate it. Character flaws, those aren't bad things. So just the fact that, Blake is it obviously bothers her. That makes sense, and she's gonna still try to do what she can anyway.
Yeah.
Blake has decided to cause a distraction.
Yep, so the RWBY can regroup with Yang, and for some reason the episode froze for me. Okay, no, I fixed it.
Sometimes do that. I mean, it do be the Ice Queendom. It's gonna get a bit chilly all up in here. Let's be real.
Anyway, shoot the robot!
Shoot the robot. Either that's a strong-ass gun or that's a weak-ass robot, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Gamble Shroud take down stuff in a single hit before.
I know, but it's still very interesting to just see that, It's just like, pew, boom, dead. It's just neat to see. Because it didn't even, blow up or knock a chunk out of the robot. It just shot it and went dunk, and it was like, I'm dead now.
Could you imagine if that was, the key to all this?
That would be kind of funny.
Imagine if just, one shot from Gamble Shroud knocks Shadow Weiss out. And, Blake's just like,
hit her. You'd have to hit her to make that work.
I know, but I'm just thinking about that. Just
that was
anticlimactic.
Just a little. And Blake legitimately does a bring it hand gesture, which
I love that so much.
Because, of course she did. Why on earth wouldn't she? But before we fully go on, we do need to, because it's important to, not just the story, I would imagine, but also just from things I want to talk about, is that the Shadow Weiss basically talks to Blake as if to say, she's blaming her for...
Should we save that for the actual scene itself?
Okay. If you so choose, we can save it up for then. Because there is a lot to talk about there.
I also have music planned for that, and I don't want to cut that track short.
Oh, okay. That's more than fair. The pragmatic response is like, yeah, we could do it now, but I also would like to have the whole soundtrack thing work a little more flow-wise, so... Yeah.
Why is it every time I hit pause, the episode just freezes?
Then stop doing that. Klein is a dog.
Yeah, the dog is Sneezy Klein.
Apparently. Which, to be fair, have you ever seen a dog sneeze? It's funny.
I mean, yeah.
So, I get it. So Blake runs off, and Weiss is all like, nah, that ain't happening. And then, wouldn't you know it, Ruby's in the big snake dimension.
The big infinite snake dimension.
The infinite snake?
Yeah, for some reason there's just a snake in the shape of infinity.
That's insane to me. Why is there a big old infinite Mobius strip snake? I don't get that.
I don't know, and
I guess actually I understand it symbolically, but it's still an interesting image to choose. Either way, Ruby summons up the Yang, but at the same dang time we get the theme song, which, honestly, I gotta be just very quickly as an aside, I gotta say, I liked it well enough, all things considered, but the more I hear the theme, the more I enjoy it. Does that make any sense?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it clicked right properly at first, but slowly over time,
I've had that
really
too.
I've really started to vibe with it, and I like it. Yang do be yawning and kicking her legs, though.
I like her line, just like, it feels weird to get sleepy inside of a dream.
Honest question, what would happen if she fell asleep? I mean, I know how Inception does it, but that's not what this is, so I'm just curious.
I mean, I don't know.
Also, this means literally nothing, but I just want to say, because it's something that makes me laugh, is the fact that because this room is so much bigger than their dorm room at Beacon, the bunk bed that Ruby usually sleeps in that's suspended from the ceiling is even higher up than the original one is.
It's also crooked.
Yes, so it's funny how even the imperfections are somewhat there. I'm going to assume that the strings are made out of stronger stuff because... Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And now I'm really starting to think about the logistics of hanging a bed from the ceiling like that. That was not a good idea.
Nor stacking one on top of books.
That's at least slightly better, I feel. I wouldn't want to sleep on either one, but I'd trust the book one before the one that's hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, as long as, neither of them move.
Yeah.
Then it should be okay.
And as long as Remnant never experiences an earthquake, I guess.
Does Remnant experience earthquakes?
I don't know. I assume they have tectonic plates. I don't know. That's like asking, does any fictional world suffer from natural disasters?
It's just we never hear of them.
Does the Mushroom Kingdom have typhoons? We don't know. Any ding-dang way, Ruby shows up. It's like, Yang, get yourself down here. And then you're going to appreciate this one. Basically, Ruby shows up, and it's just like, hey, Yang, get over here. And Yang's all like, all right. Oh, where Blake?
How'd I know you're going to bring that up?
Because of course I am!
I mean, that is a...
First thing Yang says.
Perfectly valid question. She saw Blake and Ruby leave together, and now only Ruby is showing up. Hey, where Blake at?
I appreciate the fact that you're holding back and showing so much restraint and the overwhelming waves of things you could be saying and feeling.
Yeah. Also, Yang putting Blake's plan together, like that.
Yeah, all easy peasy style. Yeah, it just makes sense.
Could show they're just that in sync.
Yeah, there you go.
Those two are good together. Should maybe look into that more.
Right. Ruby, once again, has decided to show off her not feeling so confident about her type situation. She's got that self-esteem issues, and Yang's all like, hey, how about you knock that mess off? We got stuff to do. And she shoves it through a door.
Yeah, then we get this shot of the Klein door, and his eyes are miscolored.
That they are.
Yeah, in the last episode they were purple, but in this they're green for some reason.
Are you sure? Because after we made absolute fools of ourselves with the lock situation, I don't want to be wrong this time.
No, I'm positive.
Okay. Just had to make sure. Don't want to be stupid now.
There was another Klein doll with green eyes. Like, the one in the silly jail.
That's true. Man, though, this show sure do love its extreme close-up on eyeballs. Because look at Yang's big old eyes.
Yeah. They go hard in the eye details.
Yeah, it's really nice. And so Ruby summons the power of Grayskull to shift and change around the big old snake.
Yeah, I like how she's all, maybe we can use this. Everything just works out.
I also appreciate how we don't see their immediate reaction, just the after reaction of them, like, bracing themselves on the ground. Shout out to Yang shielding Ruby, that's cute.
Yeah, that's really cute.
It's like, I don't know what's going on, but hey, I think that did something. And it did.
See, Ruby, you are a great leader.
Now, I'm not going to say that this Ruby face...
Through pure convenience.
I'm not going to say that this Ruby face isn't extraordinarily adorable, because it is. But at the same time, that had absolutely nothing to do with leadership.
Yeah, it was just kind of, I wonder if this will work. It works.
Good job, you did!
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
But at the same time, I'm not actually calling that a detriment to the scene or the story, because it's actually, apparently, part of at least a very tiny mini arc that's going on throughout this thing. And we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
But then the robots attack.
Yeah, it's Grumpy Klein.
It's Grumpy Klein. He's got himself a saber, and he's gonna do himself. Well, then maybe not a murder, but, you know, still.
He's gonna be like... No, he's basically just showing up like... Ruby, Yang, go to your room.
Basically, that is what that was. And then Blake does flips!
Yeah, we rejoin the Blake vs. Shadow Ice.
Yeah, it's time for more awkward moments. Let's go!
Yeah, I do like the... It shows Blake like just being able to just like casually dodge all these attacks.
She can't casually dodge. She is a cat.
Yeah, and they talk about,
He just ignores me. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, Shadow Ice is saying, like, no matter how many times I get rid of you, you always find your way back. And, so, this can be seen in, like, a couple of ways. There's the whole, like...
There is. There's so many ways, and I have my way, and I like my way.
And okay.
But please, continue talking.
Some of them I'm gonna, like, just address how Ruby and Yang are in, like, that bedroom.
Yes.
But it's their team room.
Yes.
If this nightmare stuff was happening before everybody found out about, like, being a cat furnace, well, I guess then in Weiss's dream she would just be human.
Yes, she would have, actually, which would have been an interesting dynamic. But,
yeah.
You know, this is good, too.
And yeah, Blake just would have been in there, too.
Yeah, 100%.
But after finding out that Blake is a furnace and, you know, Weiss's feelings about them and the White Fang, and the nightmare just trying to, you know, emphasize that above everything else in Shadow Weiss.
So, here's the thing. I have a theory. Maybe it's a load of bunk, but I do have a theory.
I like this theory a lot.
Yes, I'm gonna talk about it once it's ever so slightly more relevant. So just put a pin in this exact concept about how Shadow Weiss is treating Blake. Because I feel as if it can be flipped around into a situation that's not so iffy. That I want to talk about that, and we will when we get there.
I think I know what scene you're waiting for.
But once we get there, I'll talk all about it. Until then, Shadow Weiss has a really awesome reloading animation, not gonna lie. Just dust from the skies. I mean, her glyphs, but still. Imagine if she could teleport objects with that semblance and actually, like, interact in the real world. Man, that'd be convenient.
Yeah. I like how Blake comments, wait, she can just make unlimited dust? Oh, that's not fair.
I mean, it is her dream. It was never gonna be easy. Also,
yeah.
Straight up, Shadow Weiss can summon Grimm, which makes total sense, because of course Weiss would be able to do that in her dream, even though she can't yet in the timeline of the canon.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's actually really neat. It's like, and Blake's all like, yo, what the hell? Like I said,
Blake,
why can you do that?
Blake, that's foreshadowing for you.
It is. It really is. And then shit's balloon.
Well, she does shoot a couple of the Ursas in the face.
She do. But then Balloon Blake.
Yeah, we get 2 Balloon Blakes.
2 Balloon Blakes. They're adorable.
I also just love how she throws the coins.
Yeah.
Like that style.
Yeah, like,
I love it.
Totally unnecessary. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't point this out. Okay, it's important that you see this too. Watching Blake escape from the scene, the way, if you look at her, she is skipping. Like,
yeah, I noticed that too.
Nightstone pointed that out to me, and it's just
she's
like,
literally just like, haha, fooled ya, I'm out.
Basically, in her own subtle way, that is definitely what she just did. It's a fantastic.
Yeah, so... Yep, Blake has escaped, and
Weiss,
Whitley gives Weiss grief.
Yeah, but Weiss is like, oh, you always just run away. Oof.
Had to bring that up.
Yeah. Why does Whitley know so damn much? But how does he know that Yang got away too?
I don't know, but...
What is up with this goddamn bat?
I do quickly just want to, like, address this. The whole, Blake versus Shadow Weiss thing. How are we ruling this?
You mean as like a winner?
Yeah, because I kind of want to say stalemate, because while Blake did leave, it was a tactical retreat.
Yeah, no, it was a tactical retreat. I wouldn't call it a loss or a win for either of them.
Yeah. Plus, the goal was never to win the fight. It was just, no, distract.
The entire goal is a distraction. So if you're looking at it as far as what each particular character was attempting to do, one was distract and when the other was capture, then I guess you could say Blake ultimately won that exact exchange because she did accomplish her specific goal. But I'd still err on the side of it being more of a stalemate, really.
And the reason I bring this up, well, let's just say we'll be calling back to this concept.
Grumpy Klein has a goddamn Gatling gun. But the good news is, he's also got incredibly terrible aim.
Well, this is a world with an empire, so it makes sense that...
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Bad aim.
Yeah, I get that, but it's just, it's interesting. Like, you can see giant gaping bullet holes everywhere, but none of them actually hit Ruby or Yang in any capacity, and that's just funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, you could also just interpret it as just like, yeah, they dodge Gatling gun fire. It's not the first time Ruby characters have done that.
No, of course not, but still. And then Yang murders Grumpy Klein. Rip.
I mean, there's like 6 more of him.
I know. But, hey, Yang says that they're doing it for Weiss's sake. So that's kind of nice. I'm sure nothing Yang says or does later will make that moment feel a little less good. But, Nah, definitely not.
Anyway, they find a thing covered in thorns, but this thing actually has the Schnee symbol.
It do.
Yeah, so kind of a clear indication, yo, this is where you gotta go.
Yeah, it's not subtle. Although, it's pretty funny how Ruby kind of just casually waves around the relic like that. Just kind of like, do the thing.
Is the relic kind of a Deus Ex Machina in that sense?
The Deus Ex Machina any more than, say, a key you find in a dungeon in a video game is.
I mean, true.
It's basically a magic tool. I mean, that, opens up certain pathways. That's standard video game stuff, which is weird because it's not really supposed to be a video game, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'm not.
I don't know. It's just something that was in my head because it's just like, all right, wonder if this will work. It works. Okay.
Yeah, fair.
Let's see if this works out. It works.
Yeah, I'd say it's a convenience, but I wouldn't call it a Deus Ex Machina because that would imply that it ends up solving all of their problems and it comes out of nowhere.
Okay, yeah, true.
I'd say it has enough symbolic meaning and it doesn't do so much that you could interpret it that way.
And there's a scene coming up that kind of proves this isn't a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. Exactly. But they also very, very, very clearly decide to say, hey, they said not to touch the thorns, so
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
So somebody's going to be touching those thorns in this episode. Like, the second you hear that, you're like, oh, well, that's obviously happening. Like, forget about that mess. We ain't having any of that.
Yeah, all the thorns move out of the way, and the door is open.
Huzzah!
But before they go in, they gotta bring Blake back. So Ruby throws out a coin, Yang gives her a call, and...
The way they portray Blake talking is a little weird, but I get what they were going for.
Yeah, it's just like a thing in shows. They don't want to have like just a full-blown conversation, so they'll have just like either just noises come from one end of the phone and the other person responds.
It's the standard, you know, brah, 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 brah noise sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just, it comes out as this very strange screeching noise.
Well, it's more like just static.
I guess so. But I have a question. Here's the thing. Why exactly do they need to make the phone call if they're, like, don't the doors kind of just sort of pop up wherever you want them to go? Like, wouldn't the door just pop up next to Blake and she'd be all like, oh, that's...
No, that's not how it works.
That's not?
No, basically... So, the doors are connected to one another.
Okay.
So they're throwing a door down here, so that if Blake gets to another door... she can just open it and be there.
Okay, so she's calling, like, go to a door. Gotcha.
Also, wait. In the last episode, did Blake use a single coin?
I don't know.
Because if she didn't, then I guess the implication here could be that she used the coin just to make a door so she can get there.
I could see that. But okay, alright, so that's it. Basically... It's like it's the doors act like a portal, and every time you make a new door, it overrides one of the portals. Okay, that makes sense. I get it. Anyway, Blake is back.
Yeah, and she's all, we were just playing tag.
Yeah, pretty much. So she's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yang's very sensible and it's like, hey, how many coins everybody got? One.
Ruby has
Yang's
one,
two.
Blake has one, Yang has two.
Yes. Ruby has the executive decision to get them the ever-loving hell out of here if things go terribly, so you know that things are gonna go pretty terribly.
Yeah. I do like the Blake, so I'll leave that to our leader.
Yeah. Blake's got some faith in Ruby.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
Yes. What was with the,
Let's just say it's hard to talk about some things.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Also, I don't know if you saw this, but did you see that smug Ruby face?
I'm gonna have to go back.
It's at 820. It's at 820. She has the smuggest Ruby face.
I think I know the face you're talking about. I just have to wait for it to get there.
Just has to get there. You have to see the smug.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to fix the issue I was having with the site, I had to pull the episode up on an iPad.
Ah, alright, well, hey, whatever works.
Oh, I was getting to the face and then went back.
You fool!
God
The
damn
Rooster
it.
Teeth player is not known for being extraordinarily consistent.
Yeah, that's the face.
Look at the smug! It's adorable. Anyway, they found the nightmare, so that's pretty great. I can't believe the series is already over.
I know, right? This was a really quick season.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And also, Weiss's Volume 4 dress is floating above it. I don't 100% get that, but hey, there you go.
Okay, I kind of want to clear up some confusion.
Okay, clear up that confusion.
Okay, because with how Jean's nightmare was, it just shows him.
Yes.
So, when I was first watching this, I assumed Shadow Weiss was just, like, just an embodiment created by the nightmare, and that the actual nightmare itself was holding Weiss, just like it did with Jean before.
Is that not the case?
It's not.
Oh.
Basically,
So basically, Shadow Weiss kind of, sort of, for lack of a better term, kind of took over normal Weiss's body?
yeah.
Okay.
Like, the dress itself is meant to be symbolic of, like, the actual Weiss.
Okay. So, okay, that makes sense. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that would actually make a lot of sense because Dream Weiss would probably be wearing that outfit. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I get it. Yang decides, alright, time to make a bit of a phone call. But then the phone booth freaking explodes and Yang makes a hilarious face.
Yeah, and why did the phone explode? Oh, it's because Shadow Weiss is here.
Yeah, she was always here. You thought you were gonna get away? It didn't work.
And to the group's surprise, she's protecting the Nightmare.
Yeah, and I think I know why. I think I know why. It all makes sense. It's depressingly beautiful in a way.
Well, I mean, it's also because, like, you know, the Nightmare is just trying to, like, you know, defend itself, and how Shadow Weiss is...
Yes, but you can... It is a lot of the Nightmare just, you know, stopping them from destroying it so it can, you know, continue to do its Shadow Grim thing. I get that. But you can still tie it to Weiss's psychology. Because regardless of the possession that Weiss is currently going through, you can still psychoanalyze her to understand a few of her actions a bit more.
Okay.
Weiss goes on a bit of a thing about protecting that which be important to her, and RWBY is deeply confused by that.
Yeah, after
Because
she blasts the three of them away.
Yeah, it seems rather contradictory. Because it's like, why you say we're important and that we're precious, and my microphone falls out of its stand and lands on my lap and hurts a lot, ow.
I will just quickly add, the word precious, boy, that made shippers go insane when the sub of this was out.
Ow!
You okay?
Yeah, no, it's just the shipping. The shipping, it hurt me so much, ow.
Oof.
That's what that was. Definitely didn't drop something heavy on me. Anyway. But yeah, no, that was a fun little thing that happened when there was literally no context whatsoever for any of it. But it's not quite what that means, and I feel like most people are aware of the fact that the word precious can mean more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, they're shipper's gonna ship. It's just what they do. But then Weiss straight up calls out Yang, which is interesting, because I'm not going to say that this wasn't completely absent from the original series, but there was an argument one could make that it sort of existed there. Basically, Weiss, she did it, you know, in the real world too, but she's being a lot more blunt about it in the dream, about how Yang is more so coddling and, you know, protecting RWBY too much and not really letting her grow. And I thought that was interesting because it made me think that when you look back on it, it kind of does almost read that way a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It almost felt like in the original series, in fact, like Yang, she loves her sister oh so very dearly. That's never in question, but at the same time, it feels less like, yes, this is my respected team leader, and more so, oh yeah, that's my adorable baby sister. Look how tough and great she is. You know, it's like this strange degree of condescension that's not intended. And I have to wonder when that changed. When do you think Yang was able to, I guess, respect RWBY as an equal and a leader? I'd have to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I don't know if she ever really did. Like,
not 100%. Like,
yeah, at least not 100%, because at the end of the day, RWBY is still her little sister.
It is. I want to say it feels like it might have been an abandoned plot point that this series decided to do more with. Like, it's like, we've got enough going on in the show as is. We don't need this character dynamic.
Yeah.
I almost want to say that, but I can't say for certain, because, again, I don't know what the heck the writers are doing.
Yeah, we have no idea what goes on in the writer's room.
All we can do is just kind of speculate on these sort of things. But yeah, no, Shadow is like, hey, you're constantly coddling her, and yeah.
And unlike some fans, at least we admit.
Exactly. It's like you're constantly coddling her and stopping her from becoming a better leader. And then Yang basically falls for the bait, let's be real.
Yeah, she does.
Because the whole thing, and And okay, this is actually something to the show's credit. Again, here's the thing. I get so swept up in the character development that Ruby, Weiss, and Blake have gone through throughout the series that I actually completely forgot that Yang went through a lot of character development too, and that when the series first began, she was exceptionally reckless and quick to anger.
Yep.
Like, it was not hard to goad her into doing things. And once I was reminded of that, I was like, oh yeah, suddenly a lot of her actions in this make a lot of sense. But yeah, no, she's supposed to be aware of the fact that the shadows and the dream is going to try and manipulate her emotionally, but she still falls for it.
Yeah, I do like the Blake calls out, hey, calm down.
Like, you knock that noise off over there.
Unintentionally giving her position away.
Yeah, so oopsie poopsies. And then the Grimm gets summoned again. I do like the white Ursas. They're neat looking.
Yeah.
Also, Balloon Blake!
Yeah, we get a third one.
Calm down. Calm down.
That's just Blake saying it to me, because...
I know.
Oh my god, we got like 3 of them in one episode.
It's a good time. And then there's Yang Balloon. These things, I don't know. I've come around to them. I think they're adorable. I like them a lot.
How long before they're just in a store?
I don't know, but I want them. Gimme. But I just love them. They're just bopping all over the place, saying a bunch of nonsense. I like them a lot.
Yeah. While this is going on, Ruby tries to grab the relic, and... Ow! Her hand gets cut.
Yeah, her hand does get cut up a bit, and I'm sure that's not going to play a role in literally anything.
Nah.
A lot of blood gushes out of the wound, and I go,
oh. Ugh. No, we, also... Yeah, the relic is destroyed.
Yeah, the relic breaks, so...
That's the key to getting to Weiss's heart, and therefore to the nightmare.
Yeah, so basically this entire situation isn't going very well.
No, it's not. All they can do now is just, well, fight.
Now, here's the thing. I know I shouldn't, in any capacity, root for Shadow Weiss in this instance, because, you know, the rest of Team RWBY are doing really well. But can I compliment that cool kick she did to Yang? Because it was cool.
Yeah, it was. And
like she
also,
just dove and kick.
And remember, this is back when Yang was struggling with people who specialize in kicks.
It's true. So, like, basically...
So, yeah, appropriate that kick takes her out.
Yeah, Yang doesn't know how to deal with kicks. That's just how it is. And then Shadow Weiss just shoots a bajillion and a half missiles. And it's pretty clear and obvious that they're all about to horribly die. So they get out of there.
I do like the Ruby and Blake are able to, like, block a couple, but then...
They are, but there's just too many.
Yeah, there's just too many.
Like, they were eventually gonna get overwhelmed, and, yeah, that would have been a huge problem. And Ruby's hand is messed up!
Yeah, and... Okay, so... Back in the real world, Shion's like, everyone, wake up.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, because then we see the shot of her hand, and it's... I don't want to say that's all blood, because that doesn't make a lot of sense. But, it's still obviously, there's a thing. And I gotta ask, shouldn't Ruby have brought this up with Shion?
She touched one of the thorns?
That she touched the thorns, and that her hand is all messed up? Like,
You'd think!
I feel like that was really important, because she was specifically warned by Shion to not let the thorns touch her. So... Like, hey, Shion, the thorns touched me. What's that mean? Oh, no. You know, like, get some explanation, get some lowdown on that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was like a off-screen thing.
Maybe. Either way, Yang is bandaging her arm, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's a nice detail. Although, Shion brings up all the doors they placed have been destroyed.
Yeah, so basically they're starting from scratch with this situation.
Yeah.
And once Shion is back to full power, then they can all go back in. But they need a better strategy because they got their asses whooped!
Yep, and then it's brought up that if they don't succeed this time... yeah, Weiss just might die.
Yeah, no, I mean, eventually they just straight up like drop the pretense, and like the next time Shion brings it up, like just when a little later, it's just flat out said that no, this is basically your last chance. She is very much probably going to die if you don't succeed. So, yeah, and it's a good thing I know that she doesn't, or I'd be very upset.
Yeah, and I'd feel the same way if this was flipped and they were going into Blake's stream.
Yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Also,
and Ruby's not a fan either because she's so stressed out that she can't bring herself to eat anything.
What's with anime and extraordinarily highly defined food drawings?
I was thinking that.
Like I know it's like a trope and a meme on the internet, like anime and their obsession with food and making sure it looks delicious all the time. But holy crap, what is up with this shot?
Yeah. See,
it looks like really good food.
Every time I watch anime, it just makes me hungry.
Also, can we just talk about how apparently, the Beacon cafeteria is phenomenal?
Yeah. Okay. What does Ruby have here? She has salad, what looks like a croissant. She's got fries, mashed potatoes, a small steak.
At least 2 kinds of meat.
Some peppers. Is that?
I think that's a yam. A yam or a sweet potato.
There's one thing that looks like fried chicken.
Yeah, yeah. So let's just assume that's what that is. But like, that's just so much goddamn food, and you can just get all of that at this place. I know it's a prestigious school, but it's still a cafeteria.
Wait, got that? Man, I should not be looking at this when it's getting close to lunchtime.
Too bad. Now you're looking at it.
God damn it.
Also, I have to ask though, Ruby, if you're so stressed that you can't eat, why'd you put so much on your plate?
You know, maybe it was just thinking, you know what, food will do me some good, but just can't stop thinking about how, like, oh, wife's in danger, I've got to help.
Yep, and I guess I'll be the one to bring this up. Okay, so Yang says something extraordinarily screwed up.
Yeah,
she basically says, man, Weiss is being such a princess. Why are we even doing this again? Not 20 seconds ago, we also heard Shion say, if that they don't do this, Weiss will die.
Okay, what is with Yang?
What is with Yang's portrayal in this? It is so confusing to me.
Yeah, and I can't help but feel like if I
get being frustrated. I get that, but
it's just like, Yang, there's a time and a place for that.
Like, oh my god.
Like, think about it from like a real world perspective. If, like, say, someone close to you was in a coma and one of your friends was just making jokes about this, you'd be pissed.
It's not I don't think she gets called out enough. Okay, but there's no sense dwelling on it because there are improvements made not too long from now. It's just that line really rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, why are we doing this?
Because it rubbed me the wrong way too.
Okay, all right. At least I'm not being too unreasonable here. It's like, that's not a good line.
No, it's really not. Like, just Yang, like, no, less of that.
Luckily, Blake is sensible cat, and she says, I mean, she's acting that way because, you know, the nightmare wants us to think these things.
See? Blake talking sense. Best girl right there.
She is the sensible cat. Yang decides to go for a walk, and Blake's like, yeah, you know what, that's a pretty baller idea. I think I'll do that, too.
Yeah, you know, go for a walk, clear their heads.
Yeah, so they decide to meet back up in an hour, and hopefully everybody will come up to some kind of new plan. But I mean, what are the odds of all 3 of them having themselves an emotional moment that allows them to better clarify their thoughts and feelings and come up with a good strategy for their next assault? I mean, the odds of all 3 of them getting that are just so astronomically high that I don't see it happening.
I'm also just looking at, like, all just the tableware, so Blake and Yang were both able to eat.
They were. Oh. They're not as worried, apparently.
They've even got their, like, knife and fork, like, together, and that's what you do after you finish food.
Yeah, so
that's
there
nice.
You go.
Also, Yang had 2 drinks, and Ruby has 2 drinks. Blake only had 1.
They're thirsty! And I don't mean that way.
I was trying so hard not to say something.
And that's why I had to do it for you! Speaking of thirsty, a moment pops up that once again probably got them shippers being all like that, with Ruby wondering why Weiss call her precious. And I believe now I can finally start getting myself into my little theory here, because, Team Juniper, they walk in. All right, so we'll get into the specifics about this, because Juniper brings this up, even though this happens slightly later. But it's fine, right? Is it okay to talk about this now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Here's the way I'm interpreting things. And I have to give full credit to Nightstar about this, because he helped open my eyes and contextualize and figure things out. And, like, the man is a master at figuring out, like, subtleties and stuff. So here's the thing. When you look at what the Shadow Weiss is doing, you can reinterpret how the exact way she's going about all of these things in a different way that makes things seem not nearly as bad. Because it's true that the Shadow the Nightmare is trying to stop them from destroying it. However, you could also interpret that Shadow Weiss preventing them from fighting it is in its own way, the way she constantly talks about them as being, precious, and them as citizens, and trying to lock them away in the tower, even locking away Team Juniper in the silly jail. What does that ultimately accomplish, aside from stopping them from getting to the Nightmare? Like, at the end of the day, when you look at it from Shadow Weiss's perspective, or just Weiss in general, what does it accomplish for her? Like, wouldn't she just outright kill them? No. Why? Because she's trying to protect them. There is a part of Weiss, and they even talk about this, that Weiss is fighting the Nightmare in her own way right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it can be interpreted that Weiss is, in a way, trying to stop her team from fighting the Nightmare so that they don't get hurt, or even worse, killed, for her sake. Which is dark when you think about it, because it means that Weiss is more than willing to just outright die if it means keeping them safe, which I don't like thinking about too much, but it's something. And you can even take this a little bit further with Blake, because things look really bad with Blake, right? She's being so direct.
I was thinking we would talk about that when we get to a particular scene.
Okay, sure. That's totally fine. We'll get back to that on that. But so basically, Shadow Weiss, in a sort of Twisted-esque way, like, I feel like because of the real Weiss's influence inside of Shadow Weiss, it's about a protection thing and not an elimination thing.
Yeah.
Even when Shadow Weiss says that she's going to banish them, that's still not killing them. That's just making sure that they can't possibly ever make another attempt. Again, which could be read in a dark way as trying to protect them from this situation.
Yeah, no, that's basically exactly what Weiss is doing.
Yeah. So, I've been talking a lot this episode, so how about you take this next scene?
Yeah, okay, so... Alright, we do briefly get a shot of Sun just kind of standing on the statue of Beacon.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm just throwing this out there. I remember there was a statue at my school, but and teachers kind of went nuts if people climbed on it, so wonder if there's the same rule here, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, well, Sun's always been a rule breaker.
Yeah, true. And Yang's walking along up here thinking about the conversation she had with Weiss and how she cuddles Ruby too much, whereas Weiss's sister was much more strict.
Which she didn't say on the original time when we saw that scene.
Yeah, but this happens in anime, like, flashbacks are always slightly different.
Yeah, I get that. I just thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, plus it could have been an off-screen thing.
And then guess what happens?
Yang sits down on a bench and is just like, oh, I knew that already, stop. And suddenly Penny. She's just here now. Hello. How is such an awkward little robo girl so stealthy? Who knows? That's just how Penny be.
It's how the Penny be, and she has questions for her, and just like, hey, are you talking to yourself? Or is it somebody that I can't see with my robot eyes? But she doesn't say that.
You know what, I kind of I blame The Simpsons for this, because I was just thinking, like, when I saw Penny say, or perhaps someone beyond my perception, I was just imagining Yang and Death Note.
That is very silly. I do not think Yang has a Shirogami following her around. It would be weird if that was a plot twist, but we're not going there.
Yeah, that'd be all kinds of weird.
It would. There's a what if for you.
What if Yang had the Death Note?
Yeah, alright, now we're just getting stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's not something I would do.
No, but anyway.
Wait, would that even work on Salem?
Maybe?
I don't think it would.
I don't know. But anyway.
Because she was given, like, perfect immortality, so the Death Note shouldn't work.
I don't know. The rules are very ambiguous with that stupid thing.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I mean, sure enough, I will say, in the break between volumes 3 and 4, Adam's super dead.
Oh, obviously. Anywho, Penny suggests Yang get herself some maintenance, and that causes Yang a big confusion.
Yeah, Penny's not exactly subtle with the fact that she's a robot in this moment.
She's really not, and I, like you said off screen, that is like, hey, so Yang, you're aware she's a robot now, right? And honestly, she should, which just makes me want her to not realize that she's a robot even more. Because that just makes it funny. It's just hilarious. And we cut back over to RWBY, and John's all like, hey, were there dream versions of us in there? And RWBY has to very awkwardly kind of talk about that, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of want to see that, where it's just like, yeah, I found versions of you, you were meowing.
Except for you, Pyrrha, you were singing.
I mean, it was absolutely beautiful, but...
It was beautiful, you have a lovely voice, but it was still weird.
Could you imagine if Pyrrha actually tried singing in the real world and she wasn't good?
That would be even funnier. But I like it's kind of funny because Weiss has never worn the dress before. RWBY doesn't know that that's one of Weiss's outfits. So like, a part of me kind of wants is like, well, yeah, you guys were there, and you know, you were all in a cage and meowing. Except for you, Pyrrha. You were singing this really beautiful song, and you were wearing Weiss's clothes. I really don't know what that was about. I just want to see the reaction to that.
I feel like Pyrrha would have so many questions.
Like, what does any of that mean? What? I'm no dreamologist, but that seems odd. But Juniper does offer themselves some pretty interesting perspectives, and they give a mini version of sort of what I thought. Like about, you know, keeping something safe and protecting it.
Yeah, specifically Pyrrha who brings that up.
Yeah, because Pyrrha's a smart gal.
Yeah.
But I didn't even consider the idea of the silly jail being an extension of that, you know?
Yeah, okay, so the whole time we were talking about the silly jail and everything, I was thinking about this moment and just thinking...
And you didn't want to say anything.
Oh, I shouldn't say it.
No, you shouldn't.
And I didn't.
And you didn't, and I appreciate that because it makes for a really good reveal. And yeah. Oh, that's another cute RWBY face.
I also like this Nora just being like, you know, could always just go in and let me out.
Yeah, I don't know if silly you would have worked out too great, but you know, it's worth a thought.
Everyone's just that's not the point, Nora.
Jean says another thing that he says something he's going to definitely partially regret in a way, because he's just because this is the second time he said, it's like, man, sure wish I could go in there with you and help. And Ruby's all like, well, maybe you can. And John's like, because I just love the notion that while he isn't lying exactly about wanting to help, I feel like it's also pretty clear that, especially at this point in the timeline, he doesn't really think he could do much of anything. Yeah,
like, he's talking himself up, but secretly he's just like, I kind of suck.
Yeah, kinda. And it's interesting because it's basically Jean is saying, like, man, sure wish I could go in there and help you, with all of the confidence of a man who feels like there's literally no way he could ever end up in the situation where he could. So it's okay to lie about it. Regardless, Penny starts talking about dreams and how that must be maintenance for your brain. And you know what? That's actual science. Because that's that's what sleep do in dreams. They compartmentalize certain things and they delete other things and they make sure that your brain doesn't get all overloaded and stuff. Although because she is robot, she is all sort of, I mean, you know, she has to have her dreams programmed into her, but you know, it still works.
Yeah, the fact that she says like program, it's just like, yeah, you
Yang
must you must catch on by now, right?
She must not, because Yang's very next line is, I don't really understand. So she just thinks Penny is a weirdo.
I mean, true. But
I mean, I suppose without somebody flat out, like, if you met somebody in your real world day to day, you met somebody and they were weird, and then later you realized that, like, you know, they told you that they were a robot and they prove it, and you're like, oh my god, I didn't realize that was even a thing that was possible.
I mean, true.
I feel like most people would just assume, before thinking, oh yeah, this person has to be a robot. Like, no, you just think, they're just a weirdo. So, in that aspect, it's so easy to look at Yang and make fun of her about not realizing it, but Penny's one of a kind. So,
I mean, true.
It makes sense that she wouldn't really just go all in on oh yeah, she's a robot. That makes sense. Like, that's not a thing. What?
And, you know, like we've said previously, it's just good having Penny back.
It is. And she calls Yang older sister of friend Ruby, and that's adorable.
I like that.
But in her own little Penny way, she does give herself some pretty decently good advice, and it gives Yang some pretty good ideas, even if Penny is confused by them. So that's good.
Yeah.
Now you, have yourself a long, detailed conversation about Blake.
Okay, now... Oh boy. So, Blake and Sun are back at the cafe, and Sun's just finding out all this stuff about what was going down in the dream, and how Shadow Weiss is...
Taking it very well.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
And, well, Blake's talking about how, man, it's just so much like how things went down with the White Fang, but Sun throws out the idea, actually, doesn't this show that just how much she's actually thinking about you? Blake's all, wait, what? Sun brings up Dreamwise mentioned she's pushing her away, but she's always coming back. You know, that's gotta be just how much the Blake has changed her.
Mm-hmm.
And just how, you know,
now,
that's pretty powerful.
It is. So, like, kudos to Sun.
Yeah, I like Sun in this scene.
I like Penny and Sun a lot in this, and as awkward as their introduction to this side series was, I feel like these scenes make up for that in a big way, because they really come in clutch.
Yeah, so much that I believe you said you want to give them the MVP of the episode.
I do. I feel like they did a lot, because at this exact moment, I mean, Team Juniper also to an extent, but, you know, not quite to the same degree, because I feel like no matter what, RWBY was gonna keep trying anyway, whereas I feel like Yang and Blake were really starting to have self-doubts about the whole thing. But Penny and Sun really managed to pull them back from that and give them some perspective, and it really helped them out.
Yeah. It's just, you know, friends giving each other advice.
Hey. So, would now be a time to talk about...
Yes. This is the scene I was waiting for.
Okay. Now, do you want me to be the one to say it?
I mean, Nightslaw's the one who said it to you, so...
Okay, sure. Because, yeah, once again, this is all him, but, you know, I just wanted to make sure, because it is still Blake-centric, so, you know, I wanted to make sure. Don't want to steal any thunder. So, one could interpret this event, and how I choose to interpret the entire Shadow Weiss and Blake dynamic, is that basically you could look at it the way of the reason why Weiss is so adamantly pushing Blake specifically away has not so much to do with... I mean, in a way, it does have to... the Faunus aspect does come up, but it's less to do with, oh, she hates Blake and Faunus and wants her out of her world. You could look at it as Weiss trying unbelievably hard to keep Blake out of the kingdom because it is obviously exceptionally hostile to her kind. And that deep down inside Shadow Weiss, where the normal Weiss lie, there is a part of her that desperately would rather not have Blake ever see any of the things that are going on in this kingdom. I feel like she thinks, like Sun says, I think Weiss thinks about Blake a lot, especially right here and now at this part of the timeline. Because you gotta remember, like, basically Weiss got taken over by the Nightmare almost immediately after she reconciled with Blake.
Yeah.
So this is all still very fresh in her mind, and it's still very relevant. So Weiss wants to keep Blake away, again, for her protection. Even more than the others, because she knows just how much it's not hospitable to Faunus inside the kingdom. So, psychologically, I think that makes a lot of sense. While there are dark undertones to it, I think it comes from a place of, again, just wanting to protect her.
Yeah.
And having been told that, and seeing it from that angle, makes this entire thing feel so much better.
I know, right?
Like, oh my god, it's not just Shadow Weiss being bad person, bring up the racism stuff. Oh no, there's more to it. There's more to it than that. And good, because again, you know, it's basically Shadow Weiss, again, we brought this up, is basically, well, I mean, they call her Negative Weiss for a reason. It's because she is all of Weiss's fears, anxieties, and negative traits personified into the person that she's afraid she either will be or already is.
Yeah.
So it makes even more sense she'd want to keep all of her friends away. She doesn't want them to see her like this.
Nah.
So, instantaneously, like, it's like this refreshing minty breeze blew over my entire brain when I had this theory presented to me, and I'm just like, oh, Weiss is such a good girl. Good. I'm so happy.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Oh, and to wrap up the Blake and Sun scene, Blake does still go back to the White Fang and how, like, everything that it stood for, but humanity still, like, rejected them. Like, how, you know, she felt like she was, like, in the dream. But she's not going to lose hope.
Yeah.
Even if she's rejected, she's still going to do her best to fix whatever she can.
Yeah. So, there you go.
And thanks, Sun, for, you know, just being there, giving her some advice. And he's like, yeah, it's what friends are supposed to do for each other, right?
And Blake is going to internalize the hell out of that.
Yeah.
So, with that, basically, all three girls have some new perspective. I just realized how many cups are in front of Nora.
I know, right?
I just realized. I was going to bring up her incredibly hilarious sitting position and how that is the very definition of the unladylike sit of asserting dominance. But the cups distracted me. I'm sorry.
Hey, Nora's a thirsty girl.
She is. In both ways.
I was about to say that.
So there you go.
I mean, Ren is right there.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so yeah, all of them basically come up with some new strategies for how they're gonna go into this situation and try to make things better and right. And
although they do touch on how, like, things in Jean's dream were trying to attack them as well. So I'm just thrown off with just how quick Jean's dream was taken care of.
It really was. I keep telling you, man, it would have made more sense for that to have at least had its own entire dedicated episode, minimum.
Probably.
That's just mean. But anyway, Yang shows up and is like, I got an idea too. And Ruby's all like, my idea's better. And they're just being adorable about the whole situation. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. Although I love how Yang's all, well, once Blake gets back, Blake's already back. And
why is she so fast?
I don't know why. It's just like that last step. And just like the pan up. Just like, sorry I'm late. It's just like, no apologies needed.
I'm not gonna judge. Regardless,
Well, so that's
adorable. Yeah, it's a good smile. And then we see a RWBY smile, and she screams up with her arms in the air about a team meeting, and everyone in the cafeteria stares at her. But she cares not, because she's got some good plans. And basically, these plans instill. Okay, well, first of all, they bring up Yang's idea about how changing things in a dream, which is, you know, that's Dreamland Logic 101. That's a good thing to bring up. And Nora is distracting me again. Why is she sitting like that? She's all hunched over. Why is she doing that?
That's just how Nora be.
Nora, you are such a silly girl. Anyway, sorry. Ugh.
Yeah. Although, for Yang's idea, Osmond does bring up how it could be a double-edged sword, because if Weiss views it as a negative change, it's not going to go well. Yeah,
so you need to, if you're going to try and go that route, you need to steer it very, very carefully.
Yeah.
You have to make the Weiss inside think it's a good idea. And oh man, you better believe this causes Blake to have herself some serious resolve. She has some ideas. She knows how to help. She is reasonable cat.
I mean, she is one of the best girls.
I know. But yeah, so...
Okay, like, I know we say just MVP in general of this episode goes to, like, Sun and Penny, but of Team RWBY, can we say Blake?
Okay, sure, if it really helps you out. She already got an award already, but sure, if she just desperately needs a bonus consolation prize on top of it, okay.
No, but, like, in general, still, Sun and Penny.
Okay.
This is just me being weird, okay?
I know, it's okay. But anyway.
Also, if this were the other way around, don't act like you're going to be the same with Weiss. I know, but
we're not going to go there right now. Anyway, the rest of Team RWBY they're more resolved now. They know that Weiss needs them, and they're going to go in there and they're going to help her. And they talk about how Weiss is fighting against the Grimm in her own way as much as she can, considering how incredibly uneasy it must be, considering the whole possession thing.
Yep.
But, and then Shion basically starts talking about RWBY's idea, and how they should probably, they should bring Jean along. Because Jean, already having been infected by the nightmare, is basically going to be quasi immune to the nightmare, and will most likely just kind of be ignored by the people inside of it.
Yeah, because his heart still remembers being possessed, so other nightmares will just see him as someone who already is possessed, and ignore him.
Exactly. Although, Shion does bring up the fact that if things go sour, he'll probably die.
Yeah, if he gets too close to it, he could just die from shock.
Yeah, so, you know, maybe, you know...
Although, we kind of glossed over Nora just being like, so he's not worth noticing. And Ren's just like, that isn't it, Nora.
Yeah, Nora kind of has the habit of doing that.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, I'm sure Jean would have very much continued with the she's not wrong joke if he could have.
Yeah, probably.
It's not a fun one, but I mean, hey, Jean knows his limits, and you know, there's a respect to that. But he do be suffering himself a bit of a flop sweat because, you know I said I'd go, but I didn't realize I was actually going to have to.
By the way, when Shion's just saying, like, oh, some of the side effects could just be, like, itching and trouble breathing, that's when he's, I'm not sure about this.
Well, then he gets nervous. But, hey, he could be an incredibly valuable asset, and, well, he still has a thing for Weiss, so even if he didn't, I'd like to think John's a good enough guy to realize that this is something he should probably do anyway, so he's gonna do it. Yeah.
I mean, it is a good idea to have someone who would be ignored by the nightmare.
Yeah, but look at Pyrrha. Look at Pyrrha. Hand on his back. He's like, you got this. Believe in yourself.
Stop making me miss Argos.
Look at Pyrrha just have the biggest crush. Just look at her do that. That's adorable. There's nothing tragic about this at all. Good times. Good times.
If there's a RWBY multiverse, which there is according to a comic, I want to see the one where Pyrrha lived and she and John just got to be happy.
That would have been nice.
That would have been adorable.
be what it be. Anyway. Shion decides to basically lay down things just flatly. You're going in there. This is the last chance you're gonna get. You screw up, Weiss is gonna die, so don't do that.
And they need to find another relic.
Yes.
Which is the key to her heart.
Yang makes something of another derogatory joke, but it's more lighthearted, so I'm gonna give this one a pass.
Yeah.
Basically saying, like, we gotta make sure to save her so we can tell her how annoying this whole thing was. And I'm just like...
At least she's talking about saving her.
Still not a great time for jokes, but okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, that one's at least okay.
Yes. But Blake wants to save Weiss so she can talk to Weiss again, and they can work everything out and be super cool friends.
I love this moment.
Yeah. And they can have that adorable hand-holding moment.
The pixelated one.
Why you gotta be all like that? Anyway, Shion sends them into the dream. And the episode ends with them all basically having reset back into their little starting positions.
Yep, well, notice how Jean's not there at the last frame.
No, he's not. I'm assuming he's probably going to start out in the silly jail.
You'll see.
Okay. I will see. He'll be somewhere.
Yep.
And as was stated, hot diggity dang, that was a pretty damn good episode, gotta say.
Yeah, I like it too.
The characters felt like the characters they're supposed to be. We got some good action. We got some balloons. We even got a couple comedic moments in there too. So what are you going to complain about? Nothing. That's what. Yeah. I don't want to hear it.
And MVP, Sun and Penny.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
what do you mean? Speaking of which, what's going on?
The ending art. It's Penny.
It's Penny? Hang on. Let me zoom my way all the way over there.
Do you not look at the very end?
I do! I had to look, the credits were playing. I had to fast forward. But forgive me for forgetting what was at the very end. Get off my case. How dare you? But yeah, that do be Penny. She a good ribbit. We all miss her.
Yeah.
Hey, look. At the very least, we get side material like this that can bring characters that are gone back so that we can enjoy them a little bit more.
Yeah, true.
So you gotta look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
It just gives us more of what we missed. But, yeah. And I guess on the next part, the gals and John are gonna put their plan into action. Will it succeed or will Weiss die? We already know the answer, but still, I'm intrigued. Even if I know the outcome, I still want to see how they get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, like... It's also obvious that Weiss is going to be fine because this is taking place, like, between the first two volumes.
Yeah, seeing as how Weiss showed up in Volume 3, I'm gonna go ahead and say she probably makes it out of this. Seems like a safe bet.
Yeah,
Regardless.
some stuff is going to go down.
Well, duh. There's still, what, like 6 episodes left? Come on.
Also, I will... okay, are you bothered about spoilers in terms of, like, do they go out and then back in?
Sure, I mean, I'm under the assumption that they don't leave the dream again.
Yeah, no, this is the last time they enter it.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I didn't think leaving and coming back was an option at this point. That was my assumption.
Yeah. There's some stuff I'm excited to talk about.
Oh boy.
For varying reasons.
Oh dear. That's ominous.
One of which I believe is the next episode.
I guess
I believe.
See. We shall see. I am intrigued.
Although we might have a bit of a distraction from Ice Queendom because Way Forward decided to announce something.
They did! Arrowfell is finally going to come out.
Yay, it has a release date at last.
They waited for RWBY's birthday to actually announce it. Like, okay, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, honestly, that is fair.
I'm not going to say that's not a good time to announce it. And yeah, so November 15th, we're finally gonna get to play it. Tragically, it's not multiplayer anymore because I'm positive they said it was originally.
Yeah, I thought so too, but
I mean that's a bit of a bummer. But we'll still play it, and you know
it's also not impossible that an update might come out like in the future where it is co-op. Like
that's not impossible.
You know, a good example of that, Halo Infinite. Like, its campaign was just single player. Then an update would come out later where it's co-op campaign.
I mean, a part of me wants that, but another part of me doesn't want that because it makes me feel like I need to wait for something that might never happen.
Well,
like because I want to play the game. I've been waiting so long.
Okay, I mean, you're obviously talking about Let's Playing it. Let's not be around the bush.
Oh yeah, no, obviously.
I mean, you could still do a second one with like.
Alongside
a friend.
That's true.
Plus, hey, co-op might up the difficulty.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have no idea where I would find a friend who likes RWBY enough to play with me, obviously. But you know.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I mean, yeah, you know what? That's fair. I'll play it solo, and if at any point in the future they do add multiplayer, then I'll just do it again. It's my channel, I can do what I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna happen soon. And it's even reasonably priced at $30, so that's pretty cool.
It's just a matter of what console to get it on, or even PC, because it's on everything.
It is on everything. It's even on the it's even on the Sega Mega Drive. Yep.
Somehow.
Somehow they did. They found a way. Way forward. They're good at what they do. But yeah, we've got ourselves a whole lot of stuff coming in the immediate future. It's gonna be a busy month.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a lot of fun. And regardless, as always, dang straight, I hope you do be enjoying our silly-ass ramblings, and we will be coming back the next time for even more of that nonsense.
Yep, and like I said, something I've been looking forward to.
I'm curious as to what it is specifically, and I guess we'll see soon enough.
I mean, I can tell you off camera if you're desperate.
I'm very curious. I guess I'll find out soon enough. Regardless. Again, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. We'll see you all soon.
Bye. Okay, so next episode.
Yeah, what the heck going on?